Major development, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has now said that he would not resign despite being charged with bribery, fraud and breach of trust in a corruption scandal. He denounced the charges as an attempted coup. This is the first time in Israel's history that a sitting Prime Minister has been charged with bribery.
כערב אנחנו עדים לניסיון של הפיכה שלטונית נגד ראש ממשלה בעלילות שווא ובתהליך חקירות מזוהם ומגמתי.
And if you're wondering what are the charges against Netanyahu, well, he has serious charges of bribery, fraud and breach of trust against him. The allegations against Netanyahu range from receiving gifts worth thousands of dollars to a deal to change regulatory frameworks in favor of a media group in exchange for favorable press coverage. Netanyahu allegedly struck a deal with the owner of an Israeli newspaper to receive favorable media coverage. Another case against Netanyahu is that he made decisions benefiting the Israeli media mogul Shaul Ilovich. Now, Ilovich is the controlling shareholder of Bezek, Israel's largest telecommunications company. This was in exchange for positive coverage on Walla News, a website owned by Ilovich. And yesterday, Israel's Attorney General charged Netanyahu with corruption, bribery, fraud and breach of trust. The indictment came after a 4-day hearing with Netanyahu's defense team last month, followed by weeks of intensive discussions at the Attorney General's offices.
היום הזה הוא יום קשה ועצוב. היום הודעתי לבאי כוחו של ראש הממשלה, מר בנימין נתניהו, על החלטתי להעמידו לדין בכתב אישום הכולל 3 אישומים. יום שבו היועץ המשפטי לממשלה מחליט על הגשת כתב אישום נגד ראש ממשלה מכהן בגין עבירות חמורות של שחיתות שלטונית, הוא יום קשה ועצוב מבחינת הציבור בישראל ומבחינתי באופן אישי.
Now, Israeli law does not require Netanyahu to step down from the post of Prime Minister if indicted. The entire process of an indictment and trial could take 2 years. Netanyahu could face up to 10 years in prison and or a fine for bribery charges alone, while fraud and breach of trust carry a prison sentence of up to 3 years. And joining us live from Jerusalem is Jody Cohen, a senior political consultant. Jody, thank you for joining us on Beyond Borders 1. Now, this is unprecedented, isn't it? Help me and our viewers make sense of what some people call a watershed moment in Israeli politics.
You're absolutely right, Ramesh. This is uncharted territory, both in terms of the political deadlock. Israel is facing the 3rd election within a year. And in terms of the first Israeli Prime Minister being indicted during his term in office. This hasn't been seen before. Like we're seeing across much of the world, the Israeli electorate is split in terms of where we should go from here. A poll by Channel 12 just before the Attorney General announced his decision to indict the Prime Minister yesterday showed that 46% think that Bibi should resign as Prime Minister, while 30% believe he should stay on, and 17% believe that he should take a leave of absence. So the people are very split. We saw protests in Jerusalem last night with supporters out strongly standing behind Bibi, who of course said that he's going to fight this and go through the legal process, which of course he can do. We're also hearing that this is, as I said, we haven't seen this before. We're being told that actually Bibi might not come to trial until potentially April or May, because we might have to see an election first before the House committee can be formed, and then he has a legal right to request immunity, which will be voted on. So this could go on for months.
Indeed. And Jody, correct me if I'm wrong, but Netanyahu, as you said there, need not resign because he can continue even after he's indicted. But on the other hand, Benny Gantz is unable to form a government, and Avigdor Lieberman says, I won't support neither Gantz nor Netanyahu. So where does Israeli politics go from here on?
We're likely looking at a third election. The Knesset has 21 days in which to try and get behind a candidate to form a government. It's not likely to happen. So we are looking at a likely third election.
And very quickly, you said 46%. Did you say 46% of the people want Netanyahu to resign? If that is the case, what is the popular sentiment on the streets of Tel Aviv and Jerusalem as we speak? Do they favor a third election less than 1 year?
People do not want a third election, but people do want to see this issue resolved. 46% yesterday thought Bibi should resign, but that was, of course, before his strong statement last night, talking from his perspective, showing his defense. I think the key thing that everybody is taking from this is that while it's been, while it is a difficult time for Israel, people are grateful that we do have a strong liberal democracy. There are legal processes, there will be appeals processes for Bibi. This is by no means ended. This is just the start. This is going to go on for months, but it does show that we have a strong liberal democracy. Nobody is above being investigated, even the Prime Minister.
And Jody, very quickly, one last question. What can we expect from President Rivlin going forward? Can he still cobble together a national unity government? Is that feasible, practical, and even possible?
It's not looking likely, especially because now these indictments have been announced. It's more probable that we will go to elections, even though, again, that could come up with a similar result. But then again, we'll see what people's reactions have been to this indictment announcement, and perhaps they'll change their vote, maybe they won't. This is uncharted territory.
All right, on that note, Jody Cohen in Jerusalem, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and valuable insights into what's happening in Israel as we speak. Appreciate it.